they change nothing long term. And FTX will come and go and it won't make a difference to the potential of what crypto could be. There was so much optimism only 3 years ago, but what was missing was regulation. So where do we go from here in crypto? Well, I think we're at a stage where in most markets globally, including here in the US, if crypto wants to integrate into the global financial service system, it's going to have to be regulated because unfortunately, there's the greed of man. There's always the dark side. And so what was evident over the last 3 to 4 years, there's always rogue players taking advantage of the fact that it's the Wild West and basically stealing stuff. That's what happened. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the litigation rained down, and that's where we're at. But the potential of what crypto can be is huge, and I believe it will find its place, but only after it's integrated into financial services in a different way than it is today. In other words, regulated.
Prior to the FTX collapse, Kevin O'Leary was, surprisingly, a figure who enjoyed popularity and respect within the cryptocurrency community. He had evolved from initially disregarding and dismissing Bitcoin to eventually embracing the entire crypto sphere. Despite his imperfections, O'Leary undeniably possesses a keen understanding of wealth. In his most recent interview, he dissected precisely what he believes cryptocurrency requires to embark on its next upward trajectory: one critical element: regulation. Stay tuned until the conclusion of the video, where O'Leary will provide a detailed breakdown of the prerequisites that must materialize before the substantial influx of capital enters the cryptocurrency arena.
So let's divide crypto into two universes. One, speculative assets, Bitcoin being the granddaddy of all of them. Bitcoin, I don't consider a currency. Bitcoin is a speculative asset, no different than gold. I've watched it go down as low as 17,000 and obviously past 60,000. That's speculation. That's what it is. And you're speculating down the road it'll be worth more than it's worth today. And then let's talk about stable coins, which are essentially payment systems. Now, let's keep it real simple. I'm a watch collector. Let's say, as I have recently found, a young watchmaker in Switzerland, he's going to make 12 watches next year. One of those 12 is going to be mine. Now, how do you get Swiss francs to that watchmaker? Well, you start with the American dollar sitting in a bank account in New York. And then you have to wire transfer it to a bank in Zurich. That takes sometimes 4 days. And it's really expensive because when you get there, you have to convert it from US dollars into Swiss francs. Then you have to transfer that from that bank account in Zurich to this watchmaker's bank account in Geneva. What a total pain in the ass. The ACH transfer system, the Fedwire, the SWIFT wire, these were all developed 50, 60 years ago by the private sector and regulated by regulators. But they're old, crappy, expensive technologies today. We need to replace them. What could do that? Well, a digitized dollar. So, while we've had all of this chaos going on in crypto, the only bill that's surviving scrutiny is still moving forward in Congress on the Hill is a bill around stablecoins. You know, I was having this wonderful dialogue with one of my CEOs last week about the promise of crypto and decentralization and not trusting financial institutions, not trusting the government. And then Silicon Valley Bank, and she called me up and said, oh my goodness, we have all our money there. I hope the government's going to take care of this and give us back our cash in our account. So there's the dichotomy of I hate the government and now I love the government. Well, the thing about money, if you think about the 11 sectors of the S&P, the financial services sector is the only sector that services every other sector because you can't run commerce or have an economy without financial services. This idea of a different planet operating and everybody's going to be running around with decentralized wallets and they're not even going to bother paying taxes to the government. Well, who regulates it? Who backs it up? Who do you call when there's no money in your bank account? Money's a funny thing. People have a unique relationship with it. When it comes to just owning cash, they don't want to take any risk at all. And so it's great to talk the talk, but no sovereign wealth is going to put a lot of money into any government that has volatility and instability. And where do you find the greatest amount of trust, even with all of its problems? Where do you find the greatest scale, the broadest economy with 11 sectors? United States of America. And for all of its faults, that's where all the money goes. Every day, day in, day out. It's a giant black hole that sucks cash from all around the world because of one word: trust. You know, governments are going to regulate financial services for the reasons we just saw in the blow-up of the Silicon Valley Bank. They want to provide a stable economy based on financial services that provide a payment system for people that operate in the economy or trade globally in it. Every government does that. Now, if you mistrust government, well, I guess you can just keep gold bars in a cave with some beef jerky, a dog, and a rifle. That's okay too, but that's not for the majority of the economy. It's not useful and not easy to operate that way. So where do we go from here in crypto? Well, I think we're at a stage where in most markets globally, including here in the US, if crypto wants to integrate into the global financial service system, it's going to have to be regulated because unfortunately, there's the greed of man. There's always the dark side. And so what was evident over the last 3 to 4 years, there's always rogue players taking advantage of the fact that it's the Wild West and basically stealing stuff. That's what happened. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the litigation rained down, and that's where we're at. But the potential of what crypto can be is huge, and I believe it will find its place, but only after it's integrated into financial services in a different way than it is today. In other words, regulated.
Kevin O'Leary acknowledges the immense potential within the crypto space. He firmly asserts that the single most crucial requirement for the crypto space to take its next significant leap forward is regulation. Fortunately, there is promising news on this front, as regulation is making substantial headway. With the imminent arrival of a spot Bitcoin ETF and the SEC facing setbacks in crypto-related lawsuits, substantial progress has been made over the past 3 years. For more daily dose crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.